Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of First Look. And in this edition of First Look, I'll be doing First Look, UFC Fight Night, Dawson versus Green. So with this theme of this video, or with the subject of this video, I'm just gonna focus on like four, like 2 to 3, maybe 2 to 4 fights that kind of stick out to me from the betting perspective upon like my first look or first look. So let's just get into it. So first one is like one of the first fights on the card is Murata versus Demopoulos. So Kanaka Murata versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Demopoulos is currently sitting at like plus 200s in the plus 200 range, going against Kanaka Murata, who's like in the plus 300 range. And it's a lot of stuff, to not really like on Demopoulos' side, but it's also stuff to not like on Kanaka's side. But ultimately, am I picking this one? It's not a one I'm gonna say, oh, I'm definitely picking Demopoulos. I'm saying from the betting perspective, there's value there, especially if you're looking to money line is good. There's some good value there, and prop wise, there's some good value, some great value there. Because to get to the point on this one, Kanaka Murata's coming off a long, lengthy layoff due to getting armbarred by Johnny Roba. It didn't end the fight necessarily at initially like a tap out, but she did get her arm dislocated, and had to take some time off to get it rehabilitated and refixed. And even prior to that fight, she has a bad tendency to kind of leave her arm out there, or have underhooks or whatnot, which leaves her susceptible, to arm bars, on the ground in her guard. When she's in somebody else's guard, she leaves herself susceptible. And I think Demopoulos, like half her wins are by submission, and I think like 3 of the 4 submissions are arm bars. So she's very good at arm bars, or that's one of her go-to moves, and that's something that Murata is open to. And on top of that, Murata is a wrestler at heart. I mean, she's a wrestler. That's what she is, and at heart, that's what she is. She can work on the striking, and it's still not nothing really impressive. But at the end of the day, no matter where striking kind of gets, with someone is that's their bread and butter, they're typically going to go there at some point in the fight. Or if they see something like instinctually, they might go for like a hip toss here, or something might go there. It might go, and going for the hip toss might leave themselves falling into an arm bar. So, especially coming off an injury of that arm, I think she's susceptible to that. And I think ultimately how I feel about this one, as far as trying to play it for the value, not necessarily saying, oh, I like Demopoulos, she's the better fighter, or this and that, but like, just trying to say, I'm not gonna play Murata. I might pick her to win, but I'm not ultimately not gonna play her. But I am gonna play Demopoulos for her value, and you try to get the full value of that. I think the best probably play for that one, just kind of off the top of my head and not really seeing the full values on there just yet outside of the money line, because right now it's like a week out. I would say go for the prop, go for a Demopoulos sub, and you probably get that like plus 600, plus 700. Maybe even you go try to pick around, you could go even higher on it. But I think Demopoulos sub gonna be like plus 600. I think I'm kind of guesstimating, so I think there's good value there, and that's all I'm gonna say on that one. On to the next one. So the second fight, we got Johnny Munoz Jr. versus Ari Queenling. Johnny Munoz Jr. is kind of like at pick'em right now, or even a dog on a lot of different betting sites. And this I'm gonna just say straight up, I think Johnny Munoz Jr. is the better overall fighter, and all I see in Queenling is Ari Queenling is just a zombie punching bag who just comes forward. Not much technique, not much skill, but he's durable enough and he'll come forward. That's about it. Got an okay power, but I think Johnny Munoz Jr. has the length, the reach, the speed, and the technique to be able to handle that, mixing takedowns when necessary. Not saying you're gonna have the easiest time with them, but I think it's an avenue for him to mix it up, kind of take away some of that forward aggression. But yeah, I think Johnny Munoz Jr. is the clear side here, especially at near plus money or at plus money. Yeah, I don't understand the odds, the lines of the odds, but I definitely think they'll probably shift, by next week. But right now, it's probably a good time to get in there. And probably decision, because Munoz Jr. is a decision type fighter. But right now, probably look at the money line. Then maybe later on, probably get similar value or better value by adding like decision prop on it, because that's the most likely way he's gonna win. And Queenly is tough, not very skilled, but he'll come forward. He's durable enough, and he'll give you some rounds, and he'll be a nice forward moving punching bag. He'll be a punching drill for Johnny Munoz Jr. So Johnny Munoz Jr. looking good right there for that value. So that's the second one. Third one, Montel Jackson versus Chris Gutierrez. And with this one, Montel Jackson like minus 200 right now, or minus 190. And Montel Jackson has never lost a fight as far as in the UFC via any other method than getting like going in with guys who look to take him down and control him. And that's not what Gutierrez's style is. And I think Montel Jackson is clearly the better wrestler in grappling this one. He's the longer fighter. And he does kind of give me that Alexa Grasso in Leon Edwards type of vibe. Like he's very talented. He came with a lot of steam and hype behind him and promise behind him, but he kind of lost a couple fights, and people kind of forgot about him. And he kind of in that similar category, like with Alexa Grasso and Leon Edwards, who went on to be champions. Am I saying he's gonna be a champion? I'm not saying that, but I feel he kind of had a similar skill and similar talent, and in a similar position as they were at points in their career before they became champion. And he right now he's stacking up some wins. I think he's like on a 3 or 4 fight winning streak, something like that. So again, very oddly similar to those guys and girls, but that guy and that girl, but yeah, Gutierrez is a solid fighter, but I think his only main approach will be try to maybe chew up the legs. And yeah, that's about it. Try to chew legs and try to strike, and maybe chop the legs down and try to become more aggressive with strikes, or maybe try to come with some overhands after he chops legs down. But I think Montel Jackson should be able to catch kicks, drag him down. If I think he should be able to work around a jab and tag him up. He might really be able to get a finish here, but I definitely like Montel Jackson here, and I'd probably ultimately gonna be high confidence with him here. No insult to Chris Gutierrez. I think Montel Jackson, I just think he's coming into his own. And again, I'm not saying he's going to become the champion, but I do like his odds here, and I do like his historic. Like his historics has shown that he has, won fights when they haven't been wrestling bouts, or or heavily grappling affairs. So yeah, Montel Jackson minus 200. I love him. Well, yeah, I love him there. I'll say I love him there. Fourth one. So that's third one. Fourth one. Gonna wrap off with yeah, so it was Demopolis, Johnny Munoz Jr., Montel Jackson. And fourth one, that's for upon the first look. I'm obviously gonna have some more by the time that week comes, or by the time I come up with my predictions. But fourth one for now, Iwan Cutelaba versus Felipe Lins. Felipe Lins is 38 years old, not a very technical striker, or really technical anything, at least at this level. Outside, in the gym, he probably doing flying arm bars, Kimuras, Darce choke. He probably doing every single submission in the board on just about anyone in the gym. Outside, people that's on his level. But at the UFC level, kind of just aggressive on the feet, not really much technique, forward pressure and swinging for the fences on the feet for the most part. In his last fight, he showed at least some bit of fight IQ to be able to try to wall install his Maxim Grishin to get a decision over him, kind of throw his shots, then look to hold him against the fence. Going with much younger Cutelaba, a much more natural, more adjusted light heavyweight who's 29, 30 years old, right in his prime versus like a 38-year-old Felipe Lins. At heavyweight, maybe he's coming into his prime at heavyweight, but at light heavyweight, he's becoming a fossil at 38. So, especially if you go down the middleweight, he's really a fossil at 38, unless he's Yoel Romero or something, but he's not that. Definitely not that. So, yeah, so the wall install approach, I don't feel will have as much success against Iwan Cutelaba. He might be able to try to just use strong arm that early on, or maybe for a little bit. But Iwan Cutelaba is a much more technical wrestler. I think he had like a Greco-Roman background and all that stuff. So very underrated wrestler in Iwan Cutelaba. And at times he has shown some really impressive wrestling. At times, at other times, like, are you even a wrestler, bro? That's supposed to be your background. But then we see them other fights, like the Devin Clark fight. He put Devin Clark to wrestle himself, and he got like 10 takedowns on him. So yeah, I think much younger. Going on there with a guy who really ain't got no real game plan outside of maybe trying to swing for the fences and touch his chin, or trying to, low-level wall install him. I think Iwan Cutelaba can outwork him. I think Iwan Cutelaba is a little bit fast, a little bit sharper than him, especially because you're the light heavyweight, you're more adjusted, you're faster and sharper. You're not the heavyweight, so the heavyweight's coming down there slower, more sluggish. Especially coming from fighting guys 265 to fighting guys 205, that's like a 60-pound weight difference. But yeah, so they faster, a little bit sharper than you, a little bit more tactical than you, because you're going down a lot of pounds and a lot of different things and adjusting. So, and also again, being 38 won't help him a lot at all either. So yeah, I also feel like Iwan Cutelaba could potentially get him out of there. But money line, Iwan Cutelaba, I think he's at like minus 150 right now. I think that's a good value for him, and I think he should win this one. The much younger fighter, I think the better fighter. And also when you look at his historics for Iwan Cutelaba, when you look at who really beat him or really gave him issues, have been guys probably with decent takedown defense who've been able to really make him pay. Maybe he'll come out early and aggressive. Really not even just purely strikers, but people that have an edge, like Glover Sheriff had experience on him, was more technical than him. Probably the better striker, better grappler, but he used it like he really wore him down, then took him down and submitted him. Or Ryan Spann, who's probably was able to submit him. But Felipe Lins really ain't got either of those. He really got no real notable grappling, and he really ain't got no real notable striking, at least at this level. And I don't think at 38 he gonna really pull no rabbit out the hat. So I think the value for Iwan Cutelaba is good. And I don't feel like Felipe Lins really, he's not y'all had this notable grappling advantage, and he don't have this notable strike advantage. If anything, I feel like Iwan Kulaba, especially at this weight class, is better than him everywhere. If this was at heavyweight, maybe it'd be a slightly different story. But light heavyweight, I feel like the odds heavily favor, the odds and fate is heavily in Iwan Kulaba's favor, in the balls in Iwan Kulaba's court. So yeah, Iwan Kulaba looking good there, especially at -150. If it started to go crazy and jump to -300, I'm like probably gonna pass on it. But -150s, anywhere below -200, even -200, I probably like it. But definitely less than -200, I love it. So Iwan Kulaba at -150. But let me just kind of list them all out again. Demopoulos at like in the +200 range. You got Johnny Munoz Jr. at pick'em range. You got Montel Jackson, who's sitting around -190, -200. And then you got Iwan Kulaba, who's sitting around -150. Those are the four upon my first look. So look into them, track them, do whatever you want to do with them. But that's my first look, 4 picks or 4 odds to follow, leading up to next week's card. So that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.